This is Tim Albrechtsen, Positioning Project, Chapter 6, AP, Axial Foot. After meeting the patient, I verified his name and date of birth. I then verified the anatomy of interest. I asked him to remove any artifacts that could impede the images being taken. I then positioned him seated on the x-ray table and had him remove his shoes and the one sock from the foot of interest. He then turned on the table to place the foot of interest flat on the table, sitting on top of the 10 by 12 image receptor in the portrait position. I laid the lead apron across his lap and began positioning the CR for imaging. Now for this image, I chose the 10 by 12 imaging receptor. Set it in the portrait setting so that you can get the entire foot in the image. It is sitting on the tabletop, so sitting on this tabletop. For SID, I set the source to image receptor at 40 inches to the tabletop using the digital screen on the CR tube and verified the distance with the tape measure attached to the central array. The patient is seated on the table with his knee flexed and the plantar surface of the foot of interest in the IR. The plantar surface of his foot is resting flat and firmly on the IR. I aligned the center of the long axis of his foot to the CR and the long axis of the IR. Optionally, you can use sandbags to prevent the IR from slipping on the table, if necessary. For the CR location, I angled the CR 10 degrees posteriorly toward the heel, with the CR perpendicular to the base of the third metatarsal. For collimated field size, I collimated it about 1 inch past the outer margins of the foot on all four sides. The marker is placed just outside the foot, close enough to be seen in the image, but not to impede any bone structure. KVP range for this image is 55 to 65 KVP. At the time of taking the image, I told the patient to hold still, stop breathing. I took the picture, and then told him to breathe again. The anatomy demonstrated on this is the entire foot should be demonstrated, including all phalanges, metatarsals, navicular, cuneiform, and cuboid bones. Items in the profile is the entire foot. No rotation. To prove no rotation is seen by nearly equal distance between second through the fifth metatarsals. The bases of the first and second metatarsals are separated, and the bases of the second to fifth metatarsals are overlapping. The interstitial joint space between the first and second cuneiforms should be demonstrated. And in this picture, you can see all three cuneiforms. Pathology best demonstrated in this photo is the location and extent of fractures and fragment alignments, joint space abnormalities, soft tissue effusions, and location of opaque foreign bodies.